High Commander Darius Blackwell's tentacles twitched violently with barely restrained anger as he slammed one down onto the crystalline podium, sending powerful waves of energy rippling through the ancient material. The grand chamber of the Galactic Council, its towering spires of pure quantum crystal stretching to impossible heights and a swirling nebula-like ceiling overhead, plunged into an unnerving silence. "Order! I demand order!" Darius's voice rang out, his tone shaking the living metal walls that pulsed with an eerie blue glow. "The humans have crossed the line." Ambassador Elena Whitfield of the Zinthar Dominion, their glossy silicon-based form glistening under the artificial starlight, leaned forward in their gravity suspension pod. "What have these primates done now, High Commander?" they asked, their voice laced with skepticism. Behind Darius, the massive holoscreen sparked to life, revealing a human social media post. A crude animation of a dancing Earth cat, clad in a space helmet with the caption, "When the Galactic Council threatens to destroy Earth," followed by Loke. Matriarch Ophelia Grayson, her crystalline exoskeleton chiming softly as she shifted in her ceremonial throne, raised all four of her eye stalks in utter disbelief. "They responded to our ultimatum with dancing felines?" she asked, astonished. Darius's scales darkened to a deep purple, a clear sign of immense agitation within the Vorthran species. "Not just that," he growled. "They've flooded our communication channels with something they call memes. Our military frequencies are now bombarded with Rick rolls and dad jokes." The council chamber erupted into a cacophony of chaos. The shrill whistles of the Etherian representatives mixed with the low, rumbling growls of the Ignaran delegation, while the telepathic static of the Virex filled the air, broadcasting their collective disapproval. War Minister Cole Hawthorne, a towering figure whose cybernetic enhancements glowed with a menacing red hue, stepped forward from his corner of shadow. "Perhaps it's time we demonstrate our power," he suggested coldly. "The humans clearly do not grasp the gravity of their situation. They treat our mighty council as some form of amusement." "They've already responded to that suggestion," Darius muttered darkly, waving one of his tentacles in irritation. A new image flickered onto the hollow screen, a human message reading, "Cool story, bro. Tell it again." Ambassador Mia Lancaster, the last surviving member of the ancient Taurian order, her energy form shimmering with barely restrained frustration, spoke up. "In my 12,000 cycles, I have never encountered a species so infuriatingly nonchalant about galactic politics," she said, her voice sharp. "Do they not realize we control the combined power of 50,000 civilizations?" "Oh, they're fully aware," Intelligence Director Olivia Thornton replied, her quantum-shifting form flickering between states of matter. "That's what makes this even more concerning. Our latest intel suggests they know exactly what we're capable of and they just don't care." A heavy silence fell over the chamber as the full implications of Olivia's words sank in. These humans, these upstart primitives who had achieved faster-than-light travel just 2 centuries ago, were not acting out of ignorance. They were deliberately choosing to treat the most powerful governing body in the known galaxy as a cosmic joke. "There's more," Darius continued, his voice dropping to an ominous whisper that seemed to reverberate through the vast chamber. "When we sent our formal declaration of war, their official response was what?" High Commander Ophelia Grayson urged, her crystalline form trembling with anticipation. "They sent us a delivery confirmation receipt for pizza," Darius revealed bitterly. "They thought our declaration of war was simply an excuse to order takeout for movie night. They're planning to stream the entire conflict on something called Twitch, complete with commentary." The chamber descended into further chaos. The Etherian representatives spun wildly in their anti-gravity pods, a sure sign of panic. The Ignaran delegation's volcanic cores began overheating, triggering the chamber's environmental systems to engage emergency cooling measures. Even the usually calm Virax were broadcasting waves of confusion so intense that several lesser species representatives had to be escorted out to avoid mental overload. War Minister Cole Hawthorne's cybernetic eye flickered in frustration. "This is unprecedented. We must retaliate with overwhelming force and show them the full might of the Council," he insisted, his voice brimming with anger. "We tried that already." Intelligence Director Olivia Thornton interjected, her form solidifying into a more stable state, a sign of distress. "They've already started selling tickets to what they're calling the greatest show in the galaxy, and they've set up betting pools on which of our ships will malfunction first. The odds are disturbingly precise." Darius's tentacles drooped in defeat. The question before the council is no longer whether to go to war with humanity. They've forced our hand, he sighed. The question now is how do we wage war against a species that treats it like a reality show? The silence that followed was deafening. In the vast chamber of the Galactic Council, where some of the most powerful beings in the known universe gathered, not a single soul could offer a solution. Somewhere on Earth, the humans were likely already making memes about that too. Ambassador Elena Whitfield's crystalline memory banks hummed as they recalled that first fateful meeting with the humans, chosen specifically for their unshakable nature and extensive experience in first contact situations. Elena had never anticipated their expertise would be rendered entirely useless within the first 5 minutes. Would anyone care to hear about my first contact with these beings? Elena asked, their voice resonating through the council chamber. It might offer some insight into our current predicament. Darius, desperate for any clue into the human psyche, waved a tentacle in approval. The memory sprang to life on the council's hollow screen, the quantum crystals rendering every detail in vivid clarity. The scene showed the humans' chosen meeting location, a place called Dave's Coffee and Donuts in Seattle. They had insisted it was a perfectly reasonable diplomatic venue. I arrived, dressed in full diplomatic regalia, Elena narrated as the scene played out. My honor guard, armed with plasma rifles and quantum shields, flanked me as we entered. The establishment was buzzing with activity as the council members watched in disbelief. Behind the counter, a human with a name tag reading Ethan Parker barely spared a glance from his communication device. Welcome to Dave's, what can I get you? He asked casually. I am Ambassador Elena Whitfield of the Galactic Council, here to negotiate Earth's surrender and its integration into our mighty collective, Elena's past self declared, their voice deep with authority. Cool costume, dude, Ethan remarked with little interest. You here for the Sci-Fi convention? The Grande Mocha's on special today. War Minister Cole Hawthorne's cybernetic jaw almost unhinged in shock. They thought you were here for a cultural entertainment event? He asked, his voice tinged with disbelief. That was only the beginning, Elena continued, their silicon form pulsing with the memory of frustration. I demanded an audience with their planetary leaders. The memory continued to play, showing Ethan shrugging before pointing to a woman sitting in the corner, typing away on a primitive device. That's Chloe Donovan. She's on the city council. Comes in every Thursday, Ethan said indifferently. Elena and their honor guard marched toward the woman's table. You Earth representative, I demand your immediate attention. Elena's voice rang out, demanding respect. Chloe Donovan, however, held up a single finger, signaling for them to wait. Just posting about this on Twitter, she replied while typing. You guys look amazing. The detail on those costumes is incredible. Want to get a selfie? Elena's confusion was clear even through their silicon exterior. The what? They asked, completely stunned. Oh, and you're staying in character too. This is perfect. Chloe cheered, pulling out her communication device. Everyone smile. Even you, big silicon-looking guy. Submatriarch Ophelia Grayson's crystalline form chimed with disbelief. They took commemorative images during a surrender negotiation? She asked, her voice incredulous. Yep, Intelligence Director Olivia Thornton added, her quantum form rippling with annoyance. They called it best cosplay ever, alien diplomacy at Dave's. They even used hashtags. The memory played on, showing Elena attempting to regain control of the situation. They activated their ship's gravitational manipulators, making all the loose objects in the coffee shop float menacingly. Ethan, still behind the counter, nodded approvingly. 6 special effects, bro, but maybe ease off. Health and safety regulations and all that. Besides, you're making the coffee float, and that's just wasteful, Elena boomed, their form glowing with dangerous energy. We're not here for your entertainment. We're here to discuss the terms of your planet's peaceful integration into the Galactic Council. Chloe, still recording with her device, grinned ear to ear. This is amazing improv. Hey, Ethan, can we get some coffee for our alien friends? Do you guys drink coffee, or would that short-circuit something? We arrived in a mile-long spacecraft, Elena protested, their voice rising with frustration. It's hovering right above your city right now. Yeah, the CGI is incredible, Ethan agreed, giving a casual nod. My buddy works in special effects. He'd love to know how you're projecting that. Union job? Ambassador Mia Lancaster's energy form pulsed with a deep, sympathetic embarrassment. Surely they realized who we were eventually, she asked. Oh, they did, Elena sighed. After 3 hours of convincing, Chloe Donovan finally believed us. The memory continued, showing Chloe's response, ordering another coffee with 2 shots of something called espresso, then saying, "Well, if you're really aliens, you should try a proper Seattle coffee before doing any invading. It's kind of our thing." The memory continued, showing Chloe eagerly explaining the complexities of coffee culture to the increasingly bewildered alien diplomats. The honor guard, still holding their weapons, ended up with paper cups in hand, their fierce presence somewhat diminished by the cardboard sleeves and plastic lids. And the meeting ended, Elena continued, with Chloe Donovan creating a Discord server for what she called hanging out, and discussing this whole galactic integration thing. She invited us to join game night. "Did you accept?" War Minister Cole Hawthorne asked, his cybernetic components whirring in confusion. "The honor guard insisted," Elena admitted. "They apparently became quite fond of something called a caramel macchiato, and were eager to learn about this game night concept." High Commander Darius Blackwell's tentacles curled with irritation. "So you're telling me our first official contact with humanity was effectively derailed by coffee, social media, and board games?" "Yep," Elena replied without hesitation. "Every Thursday night, the honor guard gets really competitive at Monopoly. They're banned from Jenga, though, after an incident involving plasma rifles and a disputed block placement." The council chamber fell into stunned silence as the memory projection faded. Intelligence Director Olivia Thornton's form shifted through several states before stabilizing. "This explains so much about our current situation," she said, her voice heavy with realization. "Indeed," Elena agreed. "In hindsight, we should have recognized that any species that responds to first contact by creating a social media event and suggesting game night might not react to a declaration of war in the way we had expected." Admiral Jack Monroe stood before the council, her holographic form flickering with uncertainty. As the head of the council's Strategic Assessment Division, she had analyzed thousands of species' military capabilities, but none had given her as much trouble as humanity. "Esteemed council members," she began, her voice carrying the weight of someone who'd rather be anywhere but here, "I regret to inform you that our military assessment of human capabilities has been complicated." "Complicated how?" War Minister Cole Hawthorne demanded, his cybernetic eye narrowing as he focused. The Admiral gestured, and a series of holograms appeared in the center of the chamber. "For one, their military communication protocols are encrypted with something they call memes. Our best cryptographers are still trying to determine if the doom music kicking in is a legitimate military signal or just humans being humans." High Commander Darius Blackwell's tentacles curled with frustration. "Surely you have more concrete data about their defensive capabilities." Admiral Jack Monroe cleared her throat and brought up another hologram. "We detected what we thought was a top-secret military base in a location called Area 51. When we sent stealth drones to investigate, we found millions of humans gathered outside its gates, doing something called..." The gathering in the council chamber was interrupted by a strange conversation. A human, running in a manner they called Naruto running, discussed their plans to, and I quote, "clap alien cheeks." Submatriarch Ophelia Grayson's crystalline form chimed in distress. "Are they aware we can hear them?" she asked, alarmed. "That's the thing," Admiral Jack Monroe replied, her holographic form pulsing with exasperation. "They know, and they don't care." She continued, "We intercepted a message from their highest military command that read, 'LOL, let them listen. Wait till they find the Rick Astley defense grid.'" The council chamber erupted into confused murmurs. Ambassador Elena Whitfield's silicon form vibrated with concern. "The what defense grid?" they asked, confusion lacing their voice. "We're not sure," Monroe admitted, her voice laced with frustration. "But every time we try to scan their orbital defense systems, our screens are hijacked by a human singing about never giving up and never letting down. Our technical teams are completely baffled." Intelligence Director Olivia Thornton, now closer to the display, materialized in a state of growing concern. "What about their weapon systems?" she asked. "That's where it gets really strange," Monroe said, projecting new data streams. "They have conventional weapons, yes, but they also have something called Twitter warfare. We've observed their military personnel engaging in something called ratio battles and dunking on their opponents. The psychological impact is devastating." War Minister Cole Hawthorne slammed his cybernetic fist onto his console. "But what about their actual military response to our threats?" he demanded. The Admiral's holographic form flickered with unease. When we positioned our dreadnought fleet in their solar system, they responded by having their entire space force change their profile pictures to something called Uno reverse card. High Commander Darius Blackwell's tentacles twitched with frustration. And somehow, 3 of our dreadnoughts ended up back in our own shipyards, their command systems playing Never Gonna Give You Up on an endless loop. Ambassador Mia Lancaster's energy form rippled with concern. Surely their ground forces follow some kind of conventional military doctrine, she asked. Monroe pulled up another hologram, this one showing human military exercises. They appear to train their soldiers using something called Call of Duty and Minecraft. We've intercepted numerous communications about something called 360 no-scope, which we believe to be some advanced combat technique. That can't be right, Cole protested. We thought so too, Monroe agreed, until one of their snipers took out a surveillance drone while doing a backflip on a hoverboard, shouting MLG Pro. The video got 10 million views on something called YouTube. The Admiral continued, her holographic form cycling through charts and diagrams. Their naval forces communicate primarily through something called sea shanties. Their Air Force pilots insist on playing something called Danger Zone during combat operations, and their Army has an entire division dedicated to creating what they call spicy memes about enemy movements. But what about their actual defensive installations? Ophelia pressed, her crystalline form vibrating with mounting frustration. We found what appeared to be a missile silo in a place called Wyoming, Monroe reported. It turned out to be an elaborate setup for something called a TikTok prank. The actual missile silo was in a Wendy's parking lot. They ordered something called a Frosty and left a 5-star review. The chamber fell into stunned silence as Admiral Monroe's hologram displayed the final set of data. In conclusion, she said, we have no idea what their actual military capabilities are. Every time we think we've figured it out, they post a SpongeBob meme that somehow makes our intelligence obsolete. Are you saying, High Commander Darius Blackwell asked slowly, that we can't assess their military strength because they've turned warfare into entertainment? Not exactly, Monroe corrected. We can't assess their military strength because they've turned warfare into a combination of entertainment, social media, fast food promotions, and something called trolling. Our strategic computers are registering this as a new form of combat doctrine they're calling Warfare 2.0 Electric Boogaloo. Intelligence Director Olivia Thornton's quantum form sparked with sudden realization. Wait, are you suggesting that all of this, the memes, the social media, the chaotic responses to our threats, is actually a highly sophisticated military strategy? Monroe finished for her. At this point, I'm afraid to guess. For all we know, their entire defense network could be running on something called Reddit karma. And the scary part is, it seems to be working. The Admiral's hologram saluted crisply. That concludes my assessment, though I should mention they've already turned this entire briefing into something called a reaction video. It's trending on their networks. Apparently, we're now streaming celebrities. The Council's first strike fleet emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation, 10,000 ships strong, their quantum drives humming with enough power to reshape continents. War Minister Cole Hawthorne stood on the command bridge of the flagship, Ultimate Devastation, his cybernetic implants gleaming in anticipation. Send the final warning, he commanded. Let them tremble before our might. The transmission went out across all frequencies, a masterpiece of intimidation crafted by the Council's finest psychological warfare experts. The response came 3 seconds later. Sir, the communication officer reported, they've sent a cat video. Cole stormed over to the view screen. A small orange cat in a space helmet bounced across the screen to an upbeat tune, with text that read, "Oh no, anyway." Before Cole could respond, the entire bridge's displays shifted to a new image. A crude drawing of a stick figure shrugging with the caption, "Guess I'll die." Enough, Cole roared. Begin the attack sequence. Target their major population centers. The first strike fleet moved into attack position, their weapon systems charging. Suddenly, every ship's communication system crackled to life with a strange sound. What is that noise? Cole demanded. Admiral Jack Monroe's hologram appeared, looking concerned. Sir, it appears to be something called the chicken dance. As if on cue, the massive fleet's formation began to shift. Ships started moving in patterns that, viewed from above, formed an enormous animated chicken. The crews reported being unable to override their controls while human voices chanted, do 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 do, clap 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 clap. High Commander Darius Blackwell's voice cut through the chaos, the frustration in their tone unmistakable. The chaos in the chamber intensified as Darius's tentacles twisted in confusion. "How are they doing this?" he demanded. "Our systems are supposed to be impenetrable." "Sir," Intelligence Director Olivia Thornton reported, her quantum form fluctuating wildly. "They didn't hack us. Apparently they hired someone named Kevin from IT who, and I quote, knows a guy who knows a guy who's really good with computers." Finally, the fleet's weapon systems came online. Cole grinned in triumph. "Now we'll show them real power. Fire the quantum torpedoes." The torpedoes shot toward Earth, cutting through the void with brilliant streaks of destruction. But suddenly they stopped in midair, swerved around, and transformed into pixelated mushrooms, their eyes bouncing to a catchy tune. "What in the galaxy is happening?" Cole's cybernetic eye twitched violently. "Sir," Monroe explained, "according to human broadcasts, it's something they call Super Mario power-ups. They're giving our torpedoes little hats." The situation spiraled further as Earth's response unfolded. Instead of conventional weapons, Earth launched thousands of small satellites, each broadcasting a different episode from something called Cat Video's Greatest Hits and Best Vines compilation, 2023. "They're jamming our sensors with entertainment," Olivia Thornton reported grimly. Submatriarch Ophelia Grayson's voice crackled over the comms. Her crystalline form buzzed with disbelief. "Not just that, they've somehow turned our fleet's quantum entanglement network into something called a WhatsApp group," Olivia said, her voice tinged with frustration. "We've been added to a group called Space Force Fun Times and—" "Oh no, what now?" Cole demanded. "What now?" "Someone's grandmother just joined the chat," Olivia said, her voice dry. "And she's sending conspiracy theories about whether the council is secretly run by lizard people." The fleet's powerful engines, capable of shifting entire planets, abruptly reversed course. On every screen, a message appeared. "Your free trial of Galactic Conquest has expired. Would you like to purchase the full version? Please note, premium features include actually working weapons and not getting embarrassed in front of the entire galaxy." Cole watched, horrified, as human social media exploded. A group called Space Force Official posted a video of their fleet's chicken dance formation, set to remixed music. It quickly went viral. Humans were already selling t-shirts with the slogan, "I survived the alien invasion, and all I got was this lousy t-shirt." "Pull back," Cole finally barked, his cybernetic components smoking. "Full retreat." As the fleet began to retreat, a final transmission came through. It was a receipt from Domino's Pizza, addressed to the entire First Strike fleet. The order notes read, "Extra large with everything on it. Don't worry about the bill, Earth's got this one. P.S. Get good, scrubs." Back in the council chamber, the leaders watched in stunned silence. High Commander Darius Blackwell's tentacles were so tangled they almost appeared tied in knots. "Did we?" he asked slowly. "Did we just get defeated by what humans call a pro-gamer move?" Admiral Jack Monroe's hologram nodded, the grimness evident in her expression. "They're already selling the rights to the greatest space battle that never really happened to something called Netflix." War Minister Cole Hawthorne, his cybernetic components still smoking lightly, slumped in his chair. "Well, at least it can't get worse." "Oh, about that," Intelligence Director Olivia Thornton interjected, her quantum form flickering nervously. "The humans just announced they're starting a reality show called How to Train Your Alien Invasion, and we're all apparently going to be social media influencers now." Before anyone could respond, the emergency council session was interrupted by a peculiar sound, a cheerful ding of an elevator arriving. All eyes turned to see a human casually stroll into the most secure chamber in the galaxy, sipping something called bubble tea. "Hey everyone," the human waved, adjusting her name tag, which read, "Clara Martinez Tech Support. Sorry to crash your super-secret meeting, but your quantum security system kept throwing errors. The help desk ticket said it was urgent." High Commander Darius Blackwell froze mid-sentence. How did you get in here?" "Oh, through the front door," Clara shrugged, taking another sip. "Your quantum encrypted defense grid kept blue screening, so I just turned it off and on again. Classic IT solution. Works every time." War Minister Cole Hawthorne's cybernetic parts whirred in confusion. "That's impossible. Our security systems are the most advanced in the galaxy." "About that," Clara said, pulling out what appeared to be a primitive tablet. "You guys are still running Quantum Security Premium 2.0 ? That's like super outdated. You should really install the patches. Also, your firewall was set to ask nicely to come in mode." Intelligence Director Olivia Thornton's quantum form shrank in nervous anxiety. Our systems are unhackable. We have quantum AI guarding every— Oh, you mean Max? Clara smiled brightly. Yeah, we had a nice chat. He's really into cryptocurrency now. Started mining something called Galactic Coin. That's probably why your defense grid is so slow, by the way. The council chamber erupted in chaos. Ambassador Elena Whitfield's silicon form vibrated at such a high frequency, it seemed ready to shatter nearby crystals. You mean to tell us that humans have already surpassed your technology? They demanded, almost too shocked to speak. Clara casually grabbed a chair and propped her feet up on the ancient council table. Oh yeah, ages ago. We just didn't want to make it weird, you know. You guys were having so much fun with your whole mighty galactic civilization thing. Sub-matriarch Ophelia Grayson's crystalline form hummed with disbelief. But our scans showed you were barely achieving quantum coherence. Yeah, about those scans, Clara said, pulling something up on her tablet. You were actually scanning our retro gaming systems. That quantum signature you detected? That was just Jimmy Hunter's PlayStation 6 running Fortnite 3.0. Great graphics, terrible frame rate. Admiral Jack Monroe's hologram flickered again. What about our military assessment? Your scattered defenses? Clara chuckled, nearly spilling her bubble tea. Oh man, that was hilarious. We saw you guys coming with your super serious military analysis and we thought, let's give them a show. The memes, the social media warfare, the chicken dance fleet formation, that was just us having fun. Having fun? High Commander Darius Blackwell's voice cracked. You're saying that you were messing with us just for fun? Well, yeah, Clara said, shrugging casually. Do you know how boring it gets when you've already mastered quantum physics, achieved post-scarcity, and solved faster than light travel? We needed some entertainment, Clara said, flashing a wide grin. Your invasion was more thrilling than any reality show we could have made. War Minister Cole Hawthorne rose to his feet, his cybernetic eye twitching. Are you telling us that humans have been trolling us? Clara's grin widened. Big time. Those primitive communication systems you detected? Those were decoy networks we set up just for you. Our real internet runs on quantum-entangled memes. Way more efficient. She tapped her tablet, pulling up a screen filled with technology far beyond anything the council had ever seen. See that? That's just our cat video server farm. The important stuff, though, is in a dimension we created last Tuesday. We call it the Cloud 2.0, now with extra reality. The council members stared in horror as Clara casually swiped through displays, each more advanced than anything the council had ever developed. Those missiles you tried to launch, she continued, we didn't hack them. We just asked them politely, and they decided they'd rather be Super Mario power-ups. Turns out even quantum torpedoes enjoy a good game now and then. Ambassador Mia Lancaster's energy form pulsed faintly. Why? Why reveal this now? Clara straightened up, almost forgetting the reason she came. Oh, right, your quantum core is about to go critical. Apparently someone, not naming names, but it was probably that intern from the Crab Nebula, tried to download something called free galaxy-wide defense codes. No virus, but spoiler alert, it's definitely a virus. She tapped a few buttons on her tablet. There, fixed it. Also upgraded your whole system. You now have human-grade quantum computing, basic reality manipulation, and I threw in a free subscription to Space Netflix. You're welcome. The chamber fell into absolute silence as the magnitude of the situation sank in. Humanity hadn't been scrambling to fend off an invasion. They hadn't been frightened, disorganized, or primitive. They'd been playing along, treating the galactic invasion like a fun little diversion. One last thing, Clara added, finishing her bubble tea. Those memes we've been sending you, they're actually compressed quantum algorithms. You've been running your entire civilization on human post for the past month. Pretty efficient, right? High Commander Darius Blackwell's tentacles drooped in total defeat. So when we declared war, it was like watching a toddler challenge a quantum supercomputer to a math contest, Clara nodded. Adorable, really. We've saved the whole thing in a pocket universe. It's going to make a fantastic documentary. She stood up and adjusted her name tag. Anyway, your systems are all updated now. Just try not to download any more suspicious defense codes, and maybe consider a new approach to galactic diplomacy. I hear friendship works pretty well. Also, you're all invited to game night on Thursday. We're playing something called Intergalactic Monopoly. We made it just for you guys. As Clara turned to leave, she paused and added, Oh, and about that reality show we're producing? Don't stress the ratings. You're already trending across 12 dimensions. High Commander Darius Blackwell stood before the council, his tentacles now twisted into what humans would call a stress pretzel. The emergency session to salvage their dignity had been going on for 6 hours, interrupted only by occasional notifications that their story was trending on something called Space Reddit. "We must respond to this situation with the gravity it deserves," Darius declared, attempting to untangle a particularly stubborn tentacle. "The Council's reputation is at stake." Just then, the Council's quantum screen flickered to life with a new transmission. It was Chloe Donovan, still at Dave's Coffee and Donuts, now wearing a shirt that read, "I threatened the galaxy and all I got was better Wi-Fi." "Hey everyone," Chloe waved cheerfully. "So about this whole war thing, want to just grab a pizza instead?" War Minister Cole Hawthorne's cybernetic eye twitched so violently it almost popped out. "You suggest we end this conflict with fast food?" "Well, we could keep going with the whole invasion thing," Chloe shrugged. "But Clara Martinez from IT says your new systems need at least 2 quantum software updates, and the next patch won't be ready until after lunch. Plus, we just opened this amazing new place called Peta-Planet, now with actual planets." Ambassador Elena Whitfield's silicon form vibrated with resignation. "We threatened your world with destruction, and you're offering us pizza and garlic bread?" Chloe added. "We made it with actual stars. Very tasty, slightly radioactive, but in a fun way." Intelligence Director Olivia Thornton's quantum form rippled thoughtfully. Perhaps this is the most diplomatic solution available to us. "Plus," Chloe continued, "we're willing to formally declare you all as pretty cool, despite the whole invasion thing. We'll even give you verified badges on Galactic Twitter, blue checkmarks and everything." Submatriarch Ophelia Grayson's crystalline form hummed uncertainly. "What about the documentary you're making about our failed invasion?" "Oh, that?" Chloe grinned. "We're changing it to a buddy comedy. Working title, How I Met Your Invasion Force. Ethan from the coffee shop is already writing the theme song." The council members exchanged uncertain glances. Their choices were clear. Continue a war they had already lost spectacularly, or accept defeat with free pizza and social media verification. "We accept your terms," High Commander Darius Blackwell finally announced, giving up on untangling his tentacles. "Though we request this settlement be recorded in the official galactic records with slightly more dignity." "No problem," Chloe typed quickly on her device. "I've updated the records. Now it says the Great Pizza Treaty of 2025, how humanity and the Council became best friends through the power of Italian cuisine." Ambassador Mia Lancaster's energy form brightened. "That's actually not terrible." "Great," Chloe beamed. "I'll see you all Thursday. Game night starts at 7. Don't forget your Monopoly tokens." "All right. Who's ready for game night?" Clara Martinez called out, grinning from ear to ear. "We've modified Monopoly so it works across multiple dimensions. Just a heads up, property values on Park Place get a little unpredictable. And so the greatest conflict in galactic history ended, not with a bang, but with a pizza party. The Council's formidable war fleet was transformed into what humans called a food delivery service, with their massive dreadnoughts now specialized in delivering pizza to any corner of the galaxy in 30 minutes or less. War Minister Cole Hawthorne found a surprising new purpose as a food critic, his cybernetic enhancements proving ideal for determining the perfect cheese-to-sauce ratio. Admiral Jack Monroe's hologram became the star of a wildly successful cooking show titled Quantum Kitchen, where physics meets food. The council chamber itself was redesigned to include all the essential amenities humans insisted were required for any diplomatic function: a snack bar, a gaming corner, and of course, unlimited free Wi-Fi. The ancient quantum crystals, once used for high-level communications, were now dedicated to running Minecraft, Galactic Edition. As for humanity, they continued to treat the entire galaxy like one gigantic social network, except now, they had several trillion new followers to share memes with. They even helped the council set up their own streaming platform, Galactic Flicks and Chill. High Commander Darius Blackwell, his tentacles finally untangled thanks to a human innovation called space yoga, made one final entry in the official record. Let it be known across the galaxy that humans are not to be underestimated. They possess technology that is far beyond our comprehension, wisdom that surpasses our understanding, and a baffling ability to turn any conflict into a trending topic. Also, their pizza, absolutely phenomenal. At the bottom of the record, in smaller text, someone, most likely Clara Martinez from IT, had added, "P.S. Next week's game night is bringing back Jenga, this time We're using actual planetary bodies. Plasma rifles are still banned.